Welcome back to the 420 podcast. Now that all that spooky Halloween stuff is behind us, we can get back to more pressing issues, like how a program meant to right some historical wrongs in the cannabis industry might actually be doing like the opposite.
Yeah, it's definitely a complex situation. And today we're going to unpack why Missouri's marijuana social equity licensing program is causing such a stir. The program was designed to give those most impacted by the war on drugs a chance to build businesses in the legal cannabis industry.
Mhm.
Sounds great on paper, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you said complex situation, so what's going on? Did it hit any like unexpected snags?
Snags is an understatement, I think.
Okay.
It's facing some serious accusations of predatory practices that threaten to undermine the entire purpose. To grasp the scope of the issue, just consider this. Out of 96 micro business licenses issued, 44 have already been revoked or are at risk.
Whoa, that's
Yeah.
good. That's almost half.
Mm.
Micro business licenses, you say?
Yeah.
What exactly are those?
So these micro business licenses were specifically designed to lower the barrier to entry for smaller entrepreneurs. Think of them as like a stepping stone into the industry, offering opportunities for cultivation, manufacturing, and dispensing on a smaller scale. However, a key aspect of the program was the lottery system used to award these licenses, aiming to ensure fairness and equal opportunity.
A lottery system sounds pretty fair, at least on the surface. How could something like that go wrong?
Well, it appears that certain groups figured out how to game the system, essentially flooding the lottery with applications and tilting the odds in their favor. At the center of this controversy is a name you'll want to remember, Michael Halo.
Okay, Michael Halo. Why does that name ring a bell?
He's been linked to a staggering 700 applications out of approximately 3,600 total. That's nearly 20% of all applications submitted. And to add to that, 22 of the revoked licenses can be traced back to him.
Wow, 700 applications. Something doesn't seem right there. What exactly was he doing?
Halo's approach was strategic. He targeted applicants from marginalized communities who were eager for a foothold in the industry, offering assistance with the often daunting paperwork required. Seems helpful at first glance, right? But here's where it gets murky. Those who accepted his help often found themselves locked into contracts that heavily favored Halo.
So what did these contracts look like? Were they just really complicated, or was there something more insidious going on?
Think less complicated, more exploitative. They often granted Halo significant control over the businesses and mandated substantial profit shares, all while the licensee, the person who was supposed to benefit from the program, shouldered the majority of the risk. For example, one contract we reviewed required the licensee to pay a fee close to $1 million to exit the deal. Imagine the pressure that puts on someone trying to build their dream.
$1 million. That's outrageous. It sounds like these contracts were designed to trap people rather than help them.
Exactly. And this pattern isn't unique to Missouri either. We have stories like that of Senor Velasquez, an organizer in California, who encountered similar tactics employed by Halo in San Diego County. This suggests a deliberate, widespread approach to exploiting vulnerable communities.
So this isn't just a few bad apples. It sounds like a systemic issue.
No.
What are people saying about this? Are any organizations speaking out against these practices?
The NAACP has been particularly vocal, calling it a predatory attack that directly undermines the program's social equity goals. They argue that this isn't just about lost licenses, it's about preventing the creation of generational wealth. For those the program was designed to empower, it's a valid concern.
Yeah, if the profits are being siphoned off by individuals like Halo, the whole purpose of the program is defeated. What have the authorities in Missouri done about this? Surely there must be some oversight in place to prevent this kind of exploitation.
The Division of Cannabis Regulation hasn't been sitting idly by. They've issued warnings about predatory practices and have been actively revoking licenses. The director, Amy Moore, has even publicly addressed their concerns. But there's a major roadblock. By the time investigations are complete, contracts are often already signed, financial transactions have occurred, and untangling the web becomes incredibly difficult. It's like trying to put toothpaste back in the tube.
So even with these strong actions, the problem persists. That's mind-blowing. It sounds like the authorities are playing catch-up while these predatory practices continue to thrive.
Unfortunately, yes. And we haven't even considered the perspective of the man at the center of this controversy. Halo himself denies any wrongdoing. He claims that his actions are simply about helping people navigate the complex world of government regulations. He presents himself as a facilitator, helping dreams come true.
I'm sure that's how he sees it. But a facilitator who takes $1 million exit fee, something doesn't add up.
Exactly. It raises a crucial question for us to consider. Is this genuine assistance or exploitation disguised as opportunity? And if it's the latter, how can we differentiate between the two?
That's a great point. It's easy to get caught up in the promises and overlook the fine print, especially when you're desperate for a chance to succeed. This definitely requires some deeper exploration.
It certainly does. And that's what we'll be doing in the second part of this deep dive. We'll be looking at potential solutions, examining what other states are doing, and exploring how to ensure these social equity programs truly live up to their name.
So we've laid out the problem. A program designed for equity is being exploited. But what can be done about it? How do we ensure these programs truly empower the communities they're meant to serve?
That's the million-dollar question. And unfortunately, there's no easy fix, but there are several ideas being explored to address this complex situation. One key area focuses on strengthening the application process itself.
Okay, so like making it more rigorous, to weed out those who might be taking advantage of the system.
Precisely. Think more stringent vetting processes, background checks on consultants involved, and mandatory training for all applicants.
Training. What kind of training would that involve?
Education is key here. Applicants need to be armed with the knowledge to spot red flags in contracts, understand their rights, and be aware of potential predatory practices. Empowering individuals with this information can help level the playing field.
I love that. Knowledge is power, as they say. What about involving the community in finding solutions? Wouldn't their insights be invaluable?
Absolutely. Public hearings could be a powerful tool to gather feedback from those directly impacted by the program. They could share their experiences, offer solutions, and help shape policies that truly address their needs. Remember, this program is for them, so their voices need to be heard.
That makes perfect sense. Now, earlier we mentioned San Diego County, exploring a more radical approach, requiring applicants to submit applications themselves, cutting out consultants entirely. What are your thoughts on that?
It's certainly a bold move, attempting to sever the link between applicants and those who might exploit them. But it also raises concerns about accessibility. Remember, many individuals rely on consultants. Because the application process is often complex and daunting, we need to find a balance between protection and accessibility.
Right, it's like walking a tightrope. So this challenge isn't unique to Missouri. Didn't we mention Arizona also struggling with similar issues?
Sadly, yes. Arizona has been grappling with its own set of challenges. Related to social equity programs in the cannabis industry, they even attempted to reclaim licenses through legislation, but those efforts faced significant roadblocks and ultimately stalled.
It seems like this is a recurring theme. Wherever these programs are implemented, is it a case of good intentions gone wrong, or is there something fundamentally flawed in the system itself?
It's a combination of factors. While good intentions are crucial, they're not enough. We need to acknowledge that these programs are operating within a system that has historically disadvantaged certain communities. Addressing those systemic issues is crucial for true equity to take root.
That's a really important point. It's like trying to plant a seed in barren soil. You need to nourish the ground before anything can truly flourish.
Exactly. And that brings us back to the broader implications of this issue. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it raises concerns about social equity initiatives across different fields. Are we simply replicating existing power imbalances within these new systems, or are we genuinely creating pathways for lasting change?
Whoa. This situation feels bigger than just one program or one industry. What can our listeners take away from this? Exploration of social equity and like the unintended consequences that can arise.
Yeah, the key takeaway here is that good intentions just aren't enough. We have to be mindful of how systems, even those designed for equity, can be manipulated, and how power imbalances can open the door for exploitation.
So it's like we need to be constantly vigilant, questioning assumptions and like scrutinizing the fine print.
Precisely. And that vigilance should extend beyond just the cannabis industry. Think about other areas where social equity programs are being implemented: housing, education, healthcare. The lessons we're learning here can be applied across the board.
So how do we ensure that these programs are truly serving those they are intended to help?
Yeah.
Where do we even begin?
It starts with awareness, just like we're doing right now. We need to engage in these conversations, educate ourselves about potential pitfalls, and advocate for policies that prioritize transparency and accountability.
And I imagine community involvement is crucial as well, making sure those directly impacted have a seat at the table when these programs are being designed and implemented.
Absolutely. Their lived experiences are invaluable. We need to listen to their concerns, incorporate their feedback, and create systems that reflect their needs and aspirations. It's about empowering communities, not dictating solutions.
Empowerment seems to be like the key word here. So often these programs talk about equity. But true empowerment goes beyond just leveling the playing field. It's about giving people the tools and resources to shape their own destinies. This has been a thought-provoking exploration, to say the least. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of new opportunities and overlook potential pitfalls, especially in emerging industries like cannabis. But as we've discussed, it's crucial to approach these programs with a critical eye, asking tough questions and demanding transparency.
I couldn't agree more. And while the challenges we've discussed are complex, I remain optimistic. The very fact that we're having this conversation, that people are raising their voices and demanding better, is a sign of progress.
Well said. A huge thank you to our expert for guiding us through this intricate landscape. And to our listeners, we hope you'll continue to question, learn, and advocate for positive change. Until next time, stay curious.